Hello and welcome everybody to the Guys Next Door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. I am Pastor John McLean here, sans Juan Ron Arenas. He is at the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and go, U of A, and I was gonna at this time, they've already decided the game's already been played against Oregon. And they won, of course, and they won the Pac-12 championship. So they're number one seed going into the NCAA tournament. So that's all good news. But also good news, we have a guest co-host and a sponsor of today's show, Mr. Ryan Shirley, with Comfort Advisor, and also one of the many amazing people that make the Picture Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing team go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here with me today, brother.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Usually I'm the color commentary and Ron's like the calm straight guy, as we say in this business, but we'll see which one is which with you and I. I feel like you're going to be the calm one and I'm going to be the color commentary, but I'm I'm supposed to be the serious guy's seat. So you have to bring some funny one-liners.
Oh, man. Well, I have some good dad jokes.
Okay, good. That'll do. And then we have, I think, probably one of the best friends of most people in Tucson in some way, shape, or form. And certainly, a good friend of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, a good friend of the Guys Next Door, a good friend of Ron Arenas, who, I don't know if there's been too many conversations I have had with him where your name doesn't come up in some way just because your cooking workshops, the work that you do, kind of, just your whatever you're doing, he loves it. So that being said, we have Val Romero of Arizona Grill and Hearth here with us.
And I appreciate that introduction. Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And if you don't recognize Val Romero by his name and it definitely his illustrious reputation that usually steps in the room before he does, because he's been a community leader and definitely he's ran for office before. He's kind of anywhere he's seen where he can lean in, he's certainly seemed to, but he also is our own personal local Elvis, which is it's great that we get to have him in studio. Thank you very much for being here.
Hey, that's my line.
So, but for those who don't know, what is Arizona Grill and Hearth? I guess let's explain it to them and break it down for them.
Yeah, not a problem. Arizona Grill and Hearth. Actually, we specialize in outdoor kitchens. That's the barbecue grill aspect of it, and hearth is basically the hearth is part of the fireplace, but hearth, the word actually comes from a long time ago. It's the central meeting point of the home.
Okay.
Hearth is such an old word that Zeus's virgin sister was the goddess of the hearth.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. And hearth, what is the origin of that word?
It's just like the fire was.
Is it connected to heart at all?
No, just the heat. Well, it could be the heart of the house, the heart of the home. It's where the heat was, where the kitchen was, where the food was. It's where everybody came together, and that was at the hearth. So hearth is just an old time word that we use, and then again, it's because we do a lot of stuff with fireplaces, with new construction, remodels, in addition to our outdoor kitchen part of the work we do.
Well, paint a virtual picture in the minds of the listeners, if they were to walk into Arizona Grill and Hearth, of what they can expect, what they can see, and what you guys have available for them.
Yeah, so when you walk on in, you'll see a bunch of outdoor barbecue kitchens with the different built-in grills. We have charcoal pellet smokers inside of that. We'll show some of the different accessories, like a pizza oven. We've got ice chest refrigerators. And then on a wall, which we're actually be remodeling for summer, is our fireplace wall. So we have gas fireplaces, electric fireplaces, gas fireplace inserts, and we have glass doors and gas logs for fireplaces as well. So those are some of the items you're going to see inside the showroom.
Nice.
But with so many different items that are out there, sometimes you just go to the big screen TV and we show some videos.
I'm curious, what led you into this field?
Well, to make a short story long.
Yeah, let's make it really long. We got all day long.
So at the time, there was a guy at my church, Dick Ebert, who was attempting to get me to work for him, and I just kept telling him no, because I was actually DJing at the bum steer at the time. But I was also married at the time, and my wife at the time said she didn't want me DJing anymore and wanted me to get a real job. So, so I ended up taking the offer for Dick's Gas Grills and Lights, and then I ended up getting divorced and got back into DJing. But I stayed with
You
it.
show her.
Definitely like got back into DJing.
Yeah, definitely started that the next day.
But so yeah, I started. It was a family-owned company, and then from there he taught me a lot, and basically was a mentor for me. And then I was in the industry just for so long. He sold it to another company, and then about 2005 is when I decided to go out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I guess like that process, like what went through your mind to kind of really make that leap, and then what was the challenge when you made that leap?
So I was working with another company in town, and they just have a different philosophy on how they do business. And I was not a yes guy when I was
No.
And I remember my boss saying, "Let's go outside and have a talk." And he's like, "This is my store. This is what I expect you to do." And he said, "If you don't like it, you can find somewhere else."
Mm-hmm.
And that was when the light bulb turned on. It's like, well, heck, I'll start my own company.
Mm-hmm.
And
awesome.
so from there, I, after a year working for another company, I did a similar stuff. I ended up starting my own company. Started working out of the back of my Ford Explorer, and then moved into a small showroom to a little bit bigger, to our place now. We have about 2,400 square foot, but not all of it's showroom. Part of it's our little cafe area, and then also where we teach our barbecue smoking classes.
Interesting. And you said it was 2005 that you originally started that. So I'm guessing kind of those transitions. So you went through 2008, you went through 2020. You went through kind of all these kind of major epidemics in America. What were those challenges like, and how did you make it through those?
I was very fortunate because for 2008, I was because I was just starting small, working out of my Ford Explorer, like I'd mentioned. I didn't have like a lot of overhead and a lot of things that a lot of other people had. So I was just in that growing a trajectory where some of the other businesses were losing things because they were already had such a big balloon above them, and I didn't have any overhead. And then what was fortunate for me, there was a company called Barbecues Galore. They were the only company that had more experience in barbecue grills than me. They ended up going out of business, and I called the owner and asked if I could purchase his phone number, and he says, "I'm done with the business, you can have it." So from that,
That's a nice guy.
yeah.
You better send
Thank
him
you,
a
George.
Christmas
Thank you,
present every
George.
year.
That's a game changer.
But yeah, so from that, I was able to get all the calls. He had his business for 20 plus years beforehand. So anybody that had his business card, were calling me. And then I was also fortunate, luck have it, Dick's Gas Grills, where I used to work, their building was also, and this was in 2011, became vacant. So I moved into that same space. So people thought it was the same store that would always go
Nice.
there. So I just
Okay.
had God was on my side.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, very much so. Actually, I wanted to hear a little bit more about your barbecue classes. That's something that seems really amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let's not break into that yet,
sorry.
because we got about a minute till we jump into that. Until we get to go to break, actually. So before we go into break, I guess let's just remind our listeners of where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, and then when we come back after break, that's a teaser, what we call it in the business, Ryan.
was a pre-teaser.
We will tell them about the barbecue shop, and then also I want when we first come back into the segment, I want you to let the listeners know about what you do with Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, and tell us a little bit more about Comfort Advisor.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but tell us about where they can find you and how they get a hold of you.
Arizona Grill and Hearth, our physical showroom is at 1045 North Jerry Avenue. That's a major crossroads in Speedway, Columbus. The best landmark, there's a Dunn Edwards on the north side of us with a two-story building directly behind them. You can reach us at our office, 520-623-0924. Website, azgrill, the letter N, Hearth, HEARTH.com. Or you can also look up the King of Barbecues, and you'll be able to find me one way or another.
Awesome. And then just real quick, is there any particular special items or specials you have going on, or what someone coming in for the first time, never been there before, you would point them to as a kind of a starting point?
Most people that are coming in, or it's a destination location, so there's really nothing special that we're putting or doing promotions. But usually when people come in, they want something unique. We have our own line of barbecue spices, sauces,
Nice.
seasonings.
That's
So
cool.
a lot of times if they don't come and buy a big purchase, they usually leave with some type of spice, sauce, or a seasoning.
Awesome. Well, that's Val Romero with Arizona Grill and Hearth. I'm saying it completely wrong before.
It's okay.
And we'll be back after the break with him. I'm Pastor John McClain here with the guys next door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling Heating and Plumbing with Ryan Shirley with Comfort Advisor. You guys hang in right there. If you want, you can probably go potty, but you don't have much more time than that. And we're back with the guys next door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling Heating and Plumbing. I am Pastor John McClain here without my good buddy Ron Arenas of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Actually, not just my good buddy. I'd say a mentor in a lot of ways. I don't know if you feel that same way, Ryan, but definitely I've been watching him for a long time, looking for a chink in his armor, and I have yet to see one. So, yeah, I imagine you have even closer view than I do. So I'm sure you can account for that same thing.
Absolutely. Just myself, I have a really hard time following weak leadership, if that makes any kind of sense. And he's a very strong leader, but he doesn't need.
He's not an overbearing.
He doesn't need you to know he's the owner of the company. It's very interesting how he likes to navigate. He's very supportive in his role and very easy to work for. But also holds the whole team accountable.
Yeah,
to his customers.
Yeah, he does. Because he'll definitely, like, in working with him on this project, like he'll say, he'll let you know what he wants.
Yes.
And then he'll kind of like let it sit, and then he'll come back and be like, "Hey, what about that thing?"
Yes.
And then you'll give him a report, and if you don't have a good report, he'll be like, And then like the way he says,
Yes. Oh, yes.
yeah.
Oh, so you know the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then like next time he's gonna ask you again,
Yes.
and he's expecting a little bit better report.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whom carries so
Yeah.
much weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, but yeah, he's the whole family is amazing
they
to
are.
work for.
They are.
Janae and his son Abel as well. But just a little bit about my role over there.
Yeah, I kept saying it was your business, the Comfort Advisor, but it pretty much is your business because you are the Comfort Advisor with Picture Rocks Cooling and Plumbing.
Well, sort of in line with his leadership sort of brand and technique is that it's my job to navigate a business underneath his business, if that makes any sense. So installation, new install is going to be my whole department and navigate everything from the first door knock all the way to the final QC on your installation and everything in between. And so the whole customer experience process is
That's
sort
cool.
of my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
So,
which I couldn't think of a better guy.
thank you.
Yeah, I love Frank. He's definitely fun, but as far as like comfort, he's not exactly what I'm thinking of. Like like you're saying, from like bringing grandma to the hospital all the way to getting her back home.
Yes,
like that's
yeah.
like it's a very sensitive process when someone's air conditioning breaks down or they're replacing one of the major expenses in their life.
Yes.
And the hand holding that goes along with that.
Well, my nickname is like grandpa. Like I sort of grandpa the whole way through the process and sort of give it that sort of touch but our team is so powerful and strong and they want to do a good job that it's to be fair, it's pretty easy to manage when you have great people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, which I've definitely mentioned so much. Granted, usually when I mention that list of amazing people that are under the Picture Rock umbrella, your name is part of it. But I think, again, that speaks to Ron's leadership in finding the people in our network or in our community that he saw, okay, these people already have that character of our culture. Let's bring them in.
Well, when he brings people in, I've never seen a company. I've been in the air conditioning field in Tucson for 11 years now, worked for a couple different companies. We've done more training in the last year as a company than I've done my whole career. So Ron isn't just about bringing you in. He really wants to help you navigate to whatever your niche is within the industry because there's so many different places to fill, whether it be installation, service, call center, warehousing the equipment. Everyone has a spot. But he's willing to train you and invest in you. And what's nice is that he allows you he understands that you're going to make mistakes. But in our training processes, you make all your mistakes on one of the management team's homes. That's one really cool thing about us is that we don't send guys to your house to practice. If that makes sense. All the practicing is done. We break all his stuff. So
Oh yeah, nice, fun. I want to be part of that exercise.
he's always down, but it's always new. So
So you talked a little bit about customer experience, and I know like just the cooling, heating, and plumbing industry, I can't drive a quarter block without seeing another company.
Yes.
It's such a saturated industry.
Yes.
What sets you guys apart?
Well, air conditioning has so little to do with air conditioning. It truly is more, it's emergency mitigation, essentially, because middle of summertime, 105, 110 degrees, your house is getting hot. It's really not a safe space for pets, family members, and that kind of stuff. And most people, by the time we get your phone call, you're not like the best version of yourself because you're mitigating a full-on emergency.
I'm angry.
Yeah. So from the initial phone call, to an angry customer who knows they're about to spend. We all know. Come on.
I don't even know. But I'm
raise your
angry
hand if you
'cause
think
I
air
don't know.
conditioning is expensive.
It is
Like-
expensive. Here, I got extra. Can I get some extra hands over here?
I'm just like, yes, yeah. So knowing that when that phone call's coming in, they're fully, you're catching people when the house is just falling apart. So how do you serve that customer in a way that they feel like they're the only customer that you have out of all the customers, all the phone calls coming through the pipe? And then also what's interesting is that Ron can't serve the customer. So the way he serves his customers is through serving us. So making sure that if your kid's sick, he's going to jump in your position to make sure that you have the time to serve your family. And so by us feeling served, which interestingly, we can sort of pour that servitude into his customer base.
Yeah.
So because he's not in the house anymore. So it's really interesting to be part of the team to where he's always constantly managing us in a way that's really helping us be our best selves. Because that's the only way he can secure a great customer experience.
Except for when he's loafing in Las Vegas enjoying the U of A game.
He never goes fishing.
Yeah.
That's
true.
He takes so few breaks.
And he doesn't sleep much.
He doesn't
He is
sleep.
just going.
No,
Yeah, you're
no.
right.
If
You
there's a
deserve
crane,
it, Ron.
he's like-
I'm sorry, but I
he's
didn't mean
always
to give you a
like-
hard time.
throwing the crane around, and I'm like, Ron, why are you on the roof again? Like, why are you on the roof? So,
Well, let our listeners know how they can plug in with Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
the best way to learn anything about us is visit our Facebook page or Google us and check out our website. We have
Okay.
a lot of great information about us and the kind of equipment that we use and who we are. But we put a lot of attention into our Facebook page because we are super local, family based, and you get to know us a little bit.
And as he's taught me, it's picturerockscooling.com.
Yes.
It took me very long time to learn.
PictureRocksCooling.com.
That's it.
Yes.
Just plain and simple.
Yes.
And to your teaser earlier, what was the question that you were asking, Val?
I wanted to hear more about these barbecue classes.
Yeah,
There's a
for
little
sure.
bit of a hum about these.
Yeah. And we have actually something special coming up in
Yes, we
connection
do.
with that we'll talk about. But
Yes.
but fill people in on it real quick.
All right, so a few years back, I started a Smoking 101 class with Tucson Grill Masters at our showroom where we would actually have a hands-on class where people would come prepare ribs, tri-tip, beer can chicken. We do pork tenderloin. I do a pork shoulder. I start that the night before. We do smoked peppers, smoked cheese. This last class, we did lamb chops. So smoked lamb chops. We're going to add
You're
that
not
to the
allowed
menu.
to talk about this anymore unless you
Wow.
brought some with you.
Yeah. Is all this happening in one day?
All this is happening in one day.
Oh man.
So yes, it's all hands-on training, and then so basically we prep the food the first half of the class, get everything on the smoker, and then we kind of go through our syllabus and teach and answer questions and go through some of the smoking techniques and talk about grills and smokers, and then the second part of the class we do more teaching of techniques and eat food the rest of the time.
That's awesome. I'm curious, when you said on the smoker, are you using one smoker, multiple smokers,
we got multiple
all different
smokers.
kinds of
Yeah,
stuff?
so we have charcoal smokers going, pellet smokers going. So we've got, depending on how many people we have set for a class will determine how many smokers I have going
Wow.
that night.
Mhm. And when did you start doing this, and how many classes have you had since you started doing it?
So I think it was about 5 years ago I got started with a gentleman by the name of Sean and his wife Tiffany, and we were doing it till about 2020, and then all of a sudden we paused. And then
What happened in 2020?
I think the bird flu.
Wow, that's just follow the science.
And anyway, so I was looking to get it started going again, and Sean had been busy with other things, and so I was looking to start it on my own. So I did it with my daughter for a couple times back at the end of 2020. And Ron and Mickey, who was part of my second class.
We've had Mickey on the show.
Yeah, so they wanted to get involved, and so they are kind of they're actually my support staff. While I teach the class, they're out doing all the behind the scenes things, checking temperatures, whatever needs to be done, getting the food ready to bring out to the class. So we've been doing that. We do it once a month now. So we're doing it once a month, and it varies what it is, but usually the first couple weeks of the month.
And then Ron told me that the Guys Next Door is partnering with Arizona Grill and Hearth.
Yes. So
why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah. So April 6th coming up. Our classes are from 9 till 3 o'clock. Usually registration people show up around 8:30. But if you type in, when you go to the kingofbarbecues.com, you'll find a space where you can sign up. Just put Guys Next Door for your discount, and you get a $25 coupon basically for the $100 ticket. So it'd be $75.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
A big argument is like, what kind of wood? I always hear arguments. So what's your suggestion on what do you use?
Well, different woods, different flavor woods pair good with different types of food. So if you're doing like a beef, usually an oak, red oak, any type of post oak would work great. If you're doing like chicken, you want something a little more subtle, maybe like applewood or a pecan. But you just want to kind of pair your meat, according to the different woods.
Interesting.
And then some people like mesquite and hickory are the probably most pungent of some of the different woods. Some people love hickory and don't like mesquite, and vice versa. For me, I'm not a big hickory fan, but I do prefer the smoky flavor in mesquite. So, but a lot of times you just want to pair it well with the food you're cooking or smoking.
Nice. That's super cool. So one last time, let our listeners know how they can sign up for the class, and then also how they can get a hold of you and plug in with what you guys are doing.
Sure. If you go to the kingofbbqs.com, you'll see an area where it says smoking class. You can click on that. It'll take you to a link that shows the dates that are available. Click on the date, and then again, don't forget to put your discount code in there. Again, that's Guys Next Door. And if you need to get a hold of us, you can call us 520-623-0924. That takes phone calls as well as text. So if you want to text us on that number, you can do that also.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Val, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That's Val Romero with Arizona Grill and Hearth. I said it wrong before, but I'll say it right now. This is Southern Arizona's leading barbecue and fireplace experts. And also we had Ryan Shirley, the comfort advisor with Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Thank you for joining me, brother.
Happy to be here.
And also we want to absolutely invite you to the Smoking 101 class on April 6th. It's going to be the Guys Next Door class, so myself and Ron will be there. We're inviting all the listeners to join us. That's the April 6th class. Put in the Guy Next Door as the info code to get a $25 discount. And also we want to thank our sponsors, R&R Mini Roll-Off, Picture Rocks Clean Heating and Plumbing, and Veteran Rescue Mission. We'll talk to you next time. Keep your hats on and wash behind your ears.